This conversation is powered by Google Illuminate. Check out illuminate.google.com for more. Today's discussion centers on a fascinating, albeit somewhat unexpected, regulation from the Federal Reserve Board, Section 9A, prohibiting state member banks from participating in lotteries. It's a rule that might surprise some, given the seemingly disparate worlds of banking and gambling.
Indeed. The regulation, while seemingly straightforward, reveals a deeper concern about maintaining the integrity and stability of the financial system. It's not simply about preventing banks from selling lottery tickets. It's about safeguarding against potential risks associated with such activities.
So it's not just about the optics, but about the potential financial implications.
Precisely. The involvement of banks in lotteries could introduce unforeseen risks, potentially impacting their financial health and, by extension, the broader economy.
Let's delve into the specifics of the regulation. What exactly does Section 9A prohibit?
Section 9A explicitly forbids state member banks from dealing in lottery tickets, dealing in bets used as a substitute for lottery participation, and advertising or publicizing lotteries or their participants. It also prevents banks from allowing their premises to be used for any lottery-related activities.
So a bank couldn't even host a raffle in its lobby?
Not under this regulation. The language is quite comprehensive, aiming to prevent any form of association with lotteries. The intent is to maintain a clear separation.
And what about the definition of lottery itself? Is it as straightforward as it seems?
The definition is quite broad. It encompasses any arrangement where participants advance money with the expectation that some, but not all, will receive more than they invested, with the winners determined by chance, a game, or a contest. The key is the element of chance and the potential for disproportionate returns. However, there is an exception for savings promotion raffles, which are subject to specific regulations.
You mentioned an exception. Can you elaborate on that?
Yes, the regulation does allow for an exception for savings promotion raffles, which are contests where the sole consideration for entry is a deposit into a savings account. These raffles must adhere to regulations set by the appropriate prudential regulator. This is a carefully defined exception to avoid unintended consequences.
That's a crucial point. It highlights the careful balancing act involved in crafting such regulations. What about banks providing services to state lotteries themselves?
The regulation explicitly permits banks to accept deposits, cash checks, and perform other lawful banking services for state-run lotteries or their administrators. This is a key distinction. Facilitating legitimate financial transactions is allowed. Participating in the lottery itself is not.
So it's a matter of separating the legitimate banking functions from direct involvement in the lottery enterprise.
Absolutely. The Federal Reserve Board is tasked with issuing regulations to ensure strict enforcement and prevent any attempts to circumvent the prohibition. This underscores the seriousness with which the board views this regulation.
The text mentions that similar prohibitions exist for national banks, non-member insured banks, and savings associations. Is this a coordinated effort across different regulatory bodies?
Yes, it reflects a consistent approach across various financial institutions to maintain the integrity of the banking system. The consistent application of these prohibitions across different types of banks reinforces the importance of this principle.
Let's step back and consider the underlying rationale for this regulation. What are the potential risks associated with banks' involvement in lotteries?
Several risks exist. One is reputational risk. Association with gambling could damage a bank's image and erode public trust. Another is the potential for money laundering. Lotteries can be attractive targets for illicit activities, and bank involvement could inadvertently facilitate such activities.
And what about the financial risks?
The financial risks are significant. Lotteries involve substantial sums of money, and any involvement by banks could expose them to significant losses if the lottery fails or experiences financial difficulties. It could also lead to increased regulatory scrutiny and potential penalties.
Are there any other considerations that might influence this regulation?
Certainly. The regulation likely reflects a broader concern about the potential for banks to engage in activities that are considered socially undesirable or that could lead to financial instability. Maintaining public trust and ensuring the stability of the financial system are paramount.
It seems that this seemingly simple regulation reflects a complex interplay of financial, legal, and social considerations. To summarize, Section 9A's prohibition on lottery participation by state member banks is not merely a matter of avoiding a negative public image. It's a proactive measure to mitigate various financial and reputational risks, ensuring the stability and integrity of the banking system. The regulation's broad definition of lottery and its careful exceptions highlight the nuanced approach taken by the Federal Reserve Board.
Precisely. The regulation underscores the importance of maintaining a clear separation between the core functions of banking and activities that could introduce significant risks. It's a testament to the Federal Reserve's commitment to safeguarding the financial system.
That was a great discussion. Thank you for your insights.